They said, "I do," in front of nearly 1,000 guests at Madison Square Garden. And yet the people who were actually in the room are saying the same thing. It didn't feel like a celebrity wedding at all. Today we're breaking down the new details coming out about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding, from the invitation that made A-list guests emotional to the $26 million they quietly gave away before they even walked down the aisle. Stick around, because guest number 3 on this list might be the most surprising part of the whole night. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we cover the biggest celebrity and entertainment stories in America. Straight to the point, no fluff. If that sounds like your thing, hit subscribe before we get into it, because today's story is one of the more heartwarming ones we've covered in a while. Let's rewind for anyone just catching up. On July 3rd, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got married in New York City at Madison Square Garden, one of the most iconic venues in the country, and a fitting choice for two of the biggest names in music and football. The wedding reportedly brought in close to 1,000 guests, musicians, actors, athletes, and longtime friends from both of their worlds. Now, celebrity weddings at that scale usually come with one thing attached: spectacle. Think lavish reveals, paparazzi drones, guests live posting every second for their followers. But according to the people who were actually there, this wedding went in a completely different direction. And the first person to talk about it publicly was country music star Brad Paisley. Paisley has a history with Taylor Swift that goes back further than most people realize. He toured with her all the way back in 2007, when she was still a teenage rising star in country music, years before Fearless or the pop crossover, before any of it. So when the wedding invitation showed up, it hit different for him. Speaking with the Associated Press, Paisley said the invite itself was what stood out first. It didn't read like a typical celebrity wedding announcement. Instead, it told each guest directly, "If you're getting this, you mean a lot to us." Paisley said he took that personally. He read it, turned to his wife, actress Kimberly Williams Paisley, and asked if she wanted to go. Her answer, in his words, was an enthusiastic yes. On top of that personal touch, the couple didn't reveal the wedding location right away. Guests didn't know exactly where they were headed until closer to the actual date. Paisley described it as a fun cat and mouse game, which for two people who are followed by cameras every single day of their lives is a pretty clever way to keep something private for as long as possible. Here's where the story goes from sweet wedding invite to something bigger. Ahead of the ceremony, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce reportedly donated $26 million combined to multiple charitable organizations. And one of those organizations happens to be deeply personal to Brad Paisley himself. The couple gave to the store, a Nashville-based nonprofit that Paisley and his wife founded to help families dealing with food insecurity. In a joint statement, Paisley and Williams Paisley said they were, in their words, truly inspired by Taylor and Travis's generosity and grateful that the store was included among the organizations they chose to support. They called it a beautiful way to begin a marriage. Think about that for a second. In the middle of planning one of the most watched weddings of the year, they were also coordinating a multi-million-dollar charitable gift that most guests probably didn't even know about until after the fact. Brad Paisley wasn't the only guest talking. Sports Illustrated swimsuit model Camille Kostek also opened up about what the reception was actually like, and one detail stood out immediately. There were no phones allowed. Guests had to hand over their phones when they arrived. Every device went into an individual locked glass box and stayed there until the reception ended. No exceptions. Kostek told Fox News Digital that without phones, there was no sense of time at all. She said she was on the dance floor for 5 straight hours straight. Her shoes came off at some point, and she just fully lost herself in the night. She said she danced alongside country star Chris Stapleton and even spotted Julia Roberts in the crowd, while Taylor Swift performed live on stage. And the phone-free rule apparently went further than you'd think. Even smartwatches weren't allowed. Ashley Williams, who is Kimberly Williams Paisley's sister, revealed that Brad Paisley actually bought a traditional wristwatch just for the occasion, since there was no other way to check the time all night. Put all of that together, and you start to see why guests keep describing this wedding the same way. Not extravagant, not over the top. The word Brad Paisley used was unpretentious, which for a wedding with an A-list guest list at Madison Square Garden is honestly not what most people expected. Fans reacting online have picked up on the same thing, pointing out that between the personal, handwritten style invitations, the $26 million in donations, and an entire night with zero phones in sight, this wedding felt less like a public spectacle and more like an actual, private celebration that just happened to include a few thousand of the couple's closest famous friends. So here's the big question. In a world where every celebrity wedding gets picked apart online within minutes, is banning phones and keeping things personal actually the new blueprint for how A-listers should get married? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you're subscribed, because we've got more coverage on the Swift-Kelce wedding coming this week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.